Hey guys, Vazzy back here, and in today's video, I wanted to go over a brief overview of everything you can expect in Update 3 of my NHL 24 custom roster. By the time this video does go live on YouTube, you should be able to download the new version of the custom roster if you're on the next generation of Xbox, so definitely go give that a look if you are playing on one of those consoles. So with that being said, let's take a look at all the new and exciting things coming to this update. Starting things off today with the ever popular created players and created teams. So as many of you know, this has been one of the biggest focuses in the first two updates, as I've added in over 400 created players now to this point, and that will continue here with Update 3. Update 3 is going to be the smallest amount, as I was focusing on other things more than the created players in this one, but I can confirm that you will have 50 new prospects, either AHL ones that they don't have the rights to, or drafted players. I'll have a video of some of the ones that I want to feature here, but there is a lot more coming in this update. And when it comes to the created teams side of things, I didn't overly want to highlight this as it's not totally ready yet, but I have started work on the World Junior teams that will be coming in a future update, closer to the event when we actually have rosters. But I have just started creating the base teams. So if you do go to the creation zone, you will see 8 of the 10 teams have been created and are ready. This is just to save me time when it gets closer to the World Juniors. So that's why they're in for this update. And next, my big focus for this update was position overhauls for NHL and AHL players. This is something that I've desperately wanted to update for such a long time now, even since the first update, but I just haven't had time to make it a reality until now. So basically, I went through every single forward in the NHL and a decent amount of them in the AHL, and in accordance with cap friendly, whatever position they had listed there, that's what I changed it to in-game. So this was a pretty big task, going over basically every single player in the game here, but I think it's worth it. So now you'll actually see accurate positions to what they have in real life. But overall, yeah, there's a lot of players I found that, especially centers, that were listed as centers, but they haven't really played the position in years. Same thing can really go for wingers and all that too, or they're just on the wrong wing. But this is hopefully really going to help that AI problem of really they just put out the weirdest lines. So now that players actually are playing in their real positions, hopefully we get closer lines to what would be put out there in real life. But I guess we'll have to wait and see on that, do some more testing. But yeah, definitely when you load into franchise mode, there is going to be some players probably playing different positions than what you've been used to the last couple years, just from EA's base rosters and all that. But yeah, this was a huge change. This was really one of my main focuses here for this update. And the last big thing I wanted to highlight for this update was the Faceoff Overhaul mechanic for all players, NHL and AHL. So this kind of builds off the last point I had of getting players in their correct position. Now you can really build off that, and that was a big thing for me was the face-offs. There's a lot of players, like I had previously mentioned, that were centers that are wingers, and they have much too high of a face-off rating. So that has been fixed. Again, with going into every single player, for sure for the NHL, a decent amount of the AHL has been done, I can't confirm, at least more of the notable players. I went over with this face-off rating guide that I made and gave them the appropriate ratings that they should have in-game. So now, like as my guide shows, this just really does add more immersion to the game mode and makes positions really do matter a lot more. So let's say you did have a 60% on the face-offs and you were qualified, you took enough draws, you will be rated 90 plus now, which really does, if you're jumping into the sim, you really want to have those guys that you can go to win a face-off. Now it should really be more realistic to real life. And I did just want to bring up wingers. I gave them all 60 overall face-offs. The thing was, there is some wingers that have just recently transitioned to being a wing. An example I want to bring up is Alexander Kerfoot. Obviously, with the Coyotes, he has transitioned to be more of a winger. So I went over more of the career face-off percentage and gave it to him. So he's still listed as a winger in game, but he does have some face-offs. And there's going to be more players like that. That's just an example I came up with here. And I did just want to mention here quick before ending the video, when it comes to AHL players and their face-off rating, I strictly went off the career face-off percentage that they had in the NHL level, where at the NHL level, I just took it from this previous season here. I did that more at the AHL, there's not enough experience, so I did want to take that greater sample size and just not taking one shortened season there if they're getting called up and sent down often. I wanted to take that bigger sample size of their career rather than the one season, which I used for the NHL ratings. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this update overview. Not the biggest update when it comes to adding stuff in, but this was really where I started looking at those more fine details and really adjusting stuff so that it's more realistic, and hopefully we get better sim results because of that. But yeah, definitely check out the roster if you're on Xbox Next Gen, and I will see you all in the next video.